Hey everybody, how you doing? So there's a lot of videos I want to share with you and things I want to share with you as well. So welcome. And in this video, I'm not quite sure what I want to talk about. I think maybe some of the things I want to talk about is about life, some sort of philosophical, and some sort of part of it is going to be self-help ish. And so part of the things I wanted to talk about, I'm clear. My mind is clearly like absolutely empty right now. But I want to speak about I want to speak about life. I'm going to start from the very beginning. I want to speak about life. I want to speak about oneself. I want to speak about the future. And one of the biggest things I want to speak about is belief and and um, our own mind. One of the very things I learned in like a little bit ago was the perception versus perspective, as well as our mind. And if you're familiar with atomic physics, um, you will know that the world exists from within, as within. So the world exists the way you see it. If there's a quote that says both the person who says he can and the person who says he can't are right. So from that, you learn that the way that you see and view life is the way that you experience it. And you want to also learn that it is very, 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 very important to try to view life in different perspectives and in different ways. That gives you the ultimate choice and ultimate learning. When it comes to you want to learn something, for example, you want to see how somebody feels or want to experience something. So it comes from an understanding place, and it's very, very hard. It takes hard effort and it takes pain to learn to understand, and it takes absolutely nothing to judge and judge everything and everyone. And that comes from a place of, for example, if I hit my foot to the wall and I feel pain, and let's say, for example, your family is from a place where there's war, you want to relate that not just to yourself, but you want to relate that to the people who lost their legs or something like that. And that's just a bit extreme example, but you get the point. Is like, oh, I'm in this much pain. Can you imagine somebody else going through this? And it's some sort of selfless, and that's absolutely the highest form of love is selfless love. And you want to love and care for others in a way that doesn't just resonate with yourself, but also resonate to others. You want to love, like, say for example, if I give you $2 million, and how would you like to thank me? Are you going to thank me the way you thank me, or are you going to thank me the way I would like you to thank me? So you know that also comes from religious beliefs. If God give you everything, how would you thank God? Are you thank him the way you think, or thank the way that he says this is a proper way of doing it? So I mean, back to the point is perspective and learning to see things differently and learn to see things from other people's views, and that will put you in a place of vulnerability, but also will put you in a place of strength because you'll be able to understand instead of judge, and be able to just hold them in and give them and be able to hear them. um, Recently, actually not long ago, I read um, about this one specific movie, and it is a movie about people and people around the world. And it says, if you want to be heard, listen. The struggle was being heard. Struggle was viewing that nobody heard them, even if somebody sat there for hours listening to them. No, they like, I want to be heard. If you want to be heard, listen. And I've learned that. So if I want to be heard, I have to listen to you. Because you're telling me something I think you're not hearing me, but you actually are. And what you're replying to what I'm saying is exactly the answer I'm looking for to be heard. So if you want to be heard, listen. That's something I really learned very recently, and it's absolutely beautiful. So again, back to the point is, um, you have to, you might think you're right, and sometimes, and You have to put yourself in the shoes of other people. You have to change your perspective. You have to change your lens, your view, no matter how strong it is. And you have to understand instead of judge, and you have to listen, and instead of um, speak. And you have to have peace with that. You have to be at peace with that. You have to understand and acceptance, be in acceptance with the universe, and to listen, to listen. And part of that is listening will make you feel heard because now you are know what they're saying. And it's just a beautiful thing to experience because a lot of people just go through life and they never listen. They think nobody hears them, and that's just not true. And let me also speak about some of the wrong things and I've done when it comes to listening and hearing and life in general, just not able to see the world from certain lenses. And the best part about listening is that you be able to understand. That's what you really want. If somebody down the street just wants to like go punch everybody, while this is absolutely frustrating and no, how could you let somebody? You want to listen to what they have to say. I also learned something that I want to share with you. Just pops in my mind. We are all the same under different circumstances, and that's something Abraham Lincoln I think said, and I learned it from that one book that speaks about um, um, actually just in fact one of my mentors that I learned from is that we're speaking about this one technique. It's the anger and anger, fight or flight. So in your brain there's a fight or flight, and then use this with family, with business, with everything in your life. When you are in a situation of fight or flight, you want to evaluate things before uh, committing to that. Meaning, so, and I've been guilty of that, of not doing that. When you go into fight flight, you want to take a step back. Like, for example, you get angry, you get frustrated, and you got an emotional reaction. So, fight has been automated, or flight. So, fight or flight. Okay, this is after video. I had to add this to the fight or flight. People, when they think of fight or flight, think when they are like extremely agitated and get an emotional reaction, and then like after half hour, after a day or two, they are calm. No, 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 no. Fight or flight could last a very long time, and the judgment you make when you're in fight or flight could stay with you for longer than a week or a day or however long. It could stay for a long time, and the decisions you make while in fight or flight, you will might think if it's wrong in the future, but then you have this internal battle of like, oh yeah, yeah, but like you would try to resonate that decision you made when you're in fight or flight. So when you're fight or flight, it's not when you're angry and in the moment, and then when you calm down and kind of think about it, it's like, oh, actually, like this and this and this. No, no, no. Fight or flight could be when you are calmed down, and that brings us to the point that I'm gonna say later on. It's about fear, internal fear. Fight or flight could be in multiple ways. One is it could be more than one day. You could be in fight or flight for multiple days. God knows some people could be fight or flight for a month. The second part is the fight or flight when you make a decision and then later on you kind of in your heart you should like take back that decision or I have to go back, but then there's obstacles. Like one, for example, is like I don't want to take back my decision, I feel bad, or like I don't want to go back on my word, or like I think it's the right thing, I did the right thing, and then you're gonna try to find the reasons why it's the right thing. You find, for example, if you blame your best friend for something and you make a decision to never talk to them again, and then in the future you're like, "Ah, I should have not like said that. I want to talk with them," but then you're like, no, no, I made the right decision. I don't want to go back. And then you're gonna start like, oh, he did this and this and this and this and this and this. So yeah, fight or flight is not just a moment, but it could be more than that. He used to do this with his wife, and he would ask her to every time she would say like when he gets into the fight or flight, and she's like, "Hey, calm down," or like, "Hey, you're doing this wrong," and that will trigger him even more to be in flight mode or fight mode, and that would just make things worse. So they sat down when he was calm, and he said, "Okay, so this is a situation, and this is what's happening. what we need to do is try to say a word that makes me take a deep breath or take a moment before I get into that fight or flight. So it would be like, I perceive you to be angry, and that will trigger positively an outcome of him delaying, like taking a step back. You get out of your body and then view it from a way that's not personal, or from the other side. You just like step back from your emotions and everything and just like, okay. And sometimes it's very, very hard to do, but I learned that, and that makes you not make decisions. Whenever you are in fight or flight, the opposite of that decision is usually the right thing. And I'm laughing when I'm saying that because God knows how many times I've been um, triggered from family or close people to me or even friends, and then the reaction that you want to give, that you believe deep in your heart that is the right thing to do, tends to always, almost every single time, not to be the right thing. And the opposite, the absolute opposite of it, is the correct thing every single time. And I'm laughing because this technique, if you apply it to your daily life, I promise you, it will change everything like dramatically. So, whenever you're in a situation like that, and also that resonates and comes back to understanding perspectives on life in general. So, when you are in a situation that's you don't understand the person in front of you, or you just cannot put yourself in their shoes, and they're just triggering the hell out of you, and you're so mad, and you're so anxious, you're so annoyed, um, with the help of your partner if it's possible. If they can't help, then try to do this on your own. Take a step back, meaning like hold yourself, like, and it's so hard to do, and like perceive yourself from outside for just a split second and do the opposite exactly of what you want to do. So if somebody outside right now and he slammed you in the face, you want to just smash their face. The opposite of that is always the right thing. Is like, okay, just you take a step. That's the opposite of that for me. It was like, let's take a step back. I was like, you try to understand what they did that and the consequences of the reaction that you're going to give. And I'm talking about higher level. So this is a high level of self-discipline, of understanding, of self-reflecting, meditation, wisdom, all this stuff. So when you are at this level, you are understanding life from, hey, I cannot be blamed for my reaction, to, hey, I am higher than to be controlled by reaction. And it's just absolutely, they always say in the therapists and mental health always say, do not blame somebody for the reaction, and they call it reactive abuse. um, you don't want to blame somebody for the reaction. That's absolutely correct and right, and you should take a moment. But some people's reaction are different from the other. If somebody slapped you, somebody's reaction would be like, I'm gonna slap you back. And if somebody slapped you, somebody's reaction, I'm gonna slap you 10 times. And somebody's reaction would be like crying and getting into depression or something like that. So the reactions are different, and you can almost never predict the reaction, or don't know what it is. Depends on the person's past and like childhood traumas and all of that. So you want to put yourself in a situation or in a place where you are higher than this reaction that can be triggered by other. And usually, almost in every single case, the people closest to you are the ones who trigger you the most. So if some person down the street say something slick to you, you wouldn't care. But if somebody close to you, a best friend or something, and says something bad to you, that would trigger you really, really high. So you want to kind of program yourself and self-reflect and meditate on the idea that your reaction has to be under your control, and you have to view it from the place or fight or flight, whatever is in your mind, whatever you think that you're gonna do. The almost the opposite, like the exact opposite, almost at every time, is the right thing to do. So right now, if I go outside and or with my family and somebody triggers me, if I want to shout, if I'm angry, if I'm upset, the opposite of that right thing. So instead of saying, why would you say that, why would you do that, you really annoyed me, it'll be like, okay, um I'm sorry. You see, that's the exact opposite. You'd be like, I'm sorry, I put you in a situation to do or say that, and you would learn that. And for people who want to learn this about business, and this is from actually um, from multiple books. It's the same thing in business. When you're in a meeting and somebody just triggers you and you know that everybody's wrong and you're right and you have it deep in your mind, you get into fight or flight and you're just like you want to prove everybody wrong, but you should do the exact opposite of that. He's like, okay, let's evaluate. Okay, everybody, let's sit down and kind of communicate what you guys believe is right. And that will not just help your organization or family, it will eventually help you yourself by opening this lock in your head that was not trying to perceive this point until you have decided to do the opposite of fight or flight. So you just opened your mind a little. You could call it open-minded, but that means open to perceive new ideas or knowledge. So you're open and you perceive it and you entertain it, or you perceive it, but not necessarily you have to like follow it or believe it. You entertain it without believing it, but you also entertain it in a way that you have a chance in your soul, in your heart. What if this is right? And you listen to it, and you don't fear if it's wrong. You don't fear. Fear is almost every single time will guide you the wrong road. If I'm afraid to finish this business deal, it's like, okay, I'm afraid of it. That means it's triggering something in me. I'm afraid of something. It's not about the deal, it's about me. It's about something in me that makes me fear this. And the second you are not moved by fear, and it's a second that you are, and don't get me wrong, some people would get me wrong when I say that. It's not like I'm being absolutely free. Oh, I'm afraid to walk with my Rolex uh downtown Chicago at night alone. No, no, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna fight my, no, this is stupidity. There's a thin line between fearless and stupid. You want to be fearless in a way that my business partner, for example, if I sit down with him, I was like, okay, um, I'm afraid that if I got this deal with my business partner, one day my business partner will use it and, for example, leave the corporation, so I'll be left alone or take the advantage of this, blah, 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 blah. Now, this is fear that's not based on what he might have done that in the past, but you also want to understand that this is fear is an internal fear. It's not an external fear. If I'm standing in front of a lion and the lion is rearing and about to attack, and I'm like, oh, I'm fearless, then you're gonna die. This is an external fear. There's an internal fear, and part of that comes communication, comes understanding, and comes like constructive criticism. So you sit down, it's like sit down, it's like, hey man, I got an issue here, and it's really making me fucking anxious, and it's even making me more anxious communicating it because it makes me feel like I'm vulnerable and can be put in this situation, and can be used against me, and anxiety level high. And you go like, so there's one, two, three, four, five, six. This is what I'm afraid of. Can you give me a little bit understanding, reassurance, and the things that go right? And if we are able to kind of have some sort of an agreement that we both agree on or both promise each other, then I'll be much more comfortable. And the business part comes to you like, okay, one, two, three, four. Don't be afraid of this, of this, of this, of this, this. I'll never do this, 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 and let's agree on that. Let's have some sort of an agreement together and shake hands on it, and let's move forward. And this way, you have done an amazing, phenomenal way of figuring out that fear and moving forward. So, and that doesn't, it's not just business. This is one of the best and most productive ways to go about in life. Um, so yeah, all these I got like all these knowledge about like how to, not let your mind take over. The biggest jail in the world is your brain. Um, and most people, every single human being on earth think they're right. And the second you realize this is the second you question if you're right or not. And the second you do that is the second you are free from all your um, judgment and free from all your hatred to people who doesn't necessarily agree with you. And you kind of, and I'm saying that specifically about when you are like in a relationship, whether it's a work relationship, personal relationship, and you have to have grace and love and vulnerability and openness, and you have to promise to never close it. You have to give trust. That's how you have to give trust, and you have to forgive. That's something I learned for myself. And you have to kind of always, almost every single day, choose positivity and look for the good things, and to understand, and to is the most beautiful word or meaning. Two people in a relationship is two people, or two people in friendship, whatever it is, the same definition is two people who decide to grow together. And the second you learn that, the second you understand that when you are come to a relationship with somebody who's like, hey, I have made a decision to grow with you. I want to be here for you and help you, and I want you to be there for me and help me for however long. And almost back to the original idea of understanding and judgment, you want to not judge when you are in this relationship, if it's a work relationship, family, friendship. You need to, well, I'm trying to find the right word for it, but it's more like it's almost like soul given. It's beauty when it comes to it. It's you are in a place where you are most vulnerable, and you want to understand that fear, anxiety, stress, um, all the above is the highest. Um, and you have to understand that the way you view them, it's like I've learned this from about also relationships, stuff like that, is that you're gonna like pick every single problem when you're close to somebody. You're gonna just like pick and choose every single problem they have because you want them to be perfect. They want you to be perfect, and that's a problem right here. And you want to, you just are you're gonna choose every single small problem that they have and just pick at it, and you're gonna you and almost you're gonna generate this resentment, if they do something wrong more than one time. But here's the thing: there's only few people in the world who does that, and I would like to be one of them. And every day I want to be one of those people. Um, like trying to work hard to have this quality is you have to take a step back, and that goes back to the idea of the fight or flight. You have to take a step back sometimes when it's happening, and it just frustrates you. You have to like, okay, I want to take a step back. How am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What is my fight or flight telling me to do right now? Is it telling me to punish you? Is it telling me to get mad at you? Is it telling me to break this business deal? Is it telling me to stop this relationship? It's telling me to stop this friendship. I'm gonna actually do the opposite of that. And you can only do it so much. You do it as far as you can go. And when you do that, at some point, at some one of those times, they will learn to do the same, and they will take a step back and be like, wow. And when they start doing the same, it is the most prosper relationship you could ever have, or like whether it's any type of relationship. So be graceful, um, love without um, fear. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this, and I'm looking forward to sharing more with you. See you later.